First of all, thank you for sitting down, giving me your time. Tell people who you are. Who is Junior?
My name is Adonis Miranda. I am 45, from Brazil, originally from Brazil. I am living Europe for the past 25 years. I live in Portugal first, then I moved to Ireland. I'm here for the past 15.
So take me back a little bit. What was it like growing up in Brazil? Which part of Brazil did you grow up in, and how did you end up here?
I am from the northeast, on one of the sunniest part there, closest to the sea, but not too close. I born on the state of Pará, close to Amazonia. My mom died, I was 5, and then I was raised by my grandparents in Bahia. And I lived there until maybe in 18. I never lived with my father. I was raised by my grandparents, as I say. But at 18, I decided to live with him. I went there for 9 months, met a girl. Her mom moved to Portugal. And I decided to go with her to Portugal.
What was that like? What made you say, fuck this?
I actually didn't. I was always a person with, rush decisions. I always, I'm gonna do it now.
Very spontaneous.
Yeah. Whatever happened. The same. I never lived with my father, as I say. My family was farmers. They still are. We grew up school, farm. So when he say, when I turned 18, and he say, come here, live with me, it was a bit difficult. You wanna pause?
No, it's okay.
Yeah. And it was a bit difficult, and I say, okay, I gonna try to live with that guy that I never live with. And
was this the first time you met him?
No. He used to live close by until I was 11. But
What was your relationship with him like?
Almost none.
Okay.
Yeah, just speaking on the phone, and he would come maybe a time, 1-2 times a year to visit us. My sister was always in love. She always wanted to have that dream to one day be able to live with him. But I was always, my grandfather was my dad and my grandmother was my mom. But I say, let me see how he's, not just because of my father, but was Amazon. He was living in Rondônia. Rondônia is just to the south part of Amazon, and I went there. I was an accountant. I just finished accountancy.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I was just finishing accountancy and the army
okay.
at the same time.
Is the army compulsory in Brazil?
6 months.
6 months.
But
is it still the case today?
No, no, not anymore. But I did 6 months, and I was there for another 6 months, like optional. But I did some exams to go higher rank, but it's Brazil. You only go where you know people, You can't go nowhere if you don't know somebody.
A lot of corruption.
Yeah. So then I just quit, and I went to live there with him. Amazing state, Rondônia. Not rich, not many to do in there because it's forest. Most of the, let's say, big companies are not able to go there because restrictions of the forest and bureaucratics. Again, you're only able to go if you know someone.
Yeah.
So there's no much industry. If there's no industry, no jobs. If no jobs, then
no money.
No money, and what is left is just across the river. That was Bolivia. Get some jugs and sell on the other side.
Right.
So anyway, Rondônia was a very good experience. It was my first time leaving the wings of my family, let's say this way.
Was the drug world, was the crime world very prominent? Was it always a part of your life growing up in Brazil? Like, is it very hard to avoid it because everyone is doing it, or?
On my time,
yeah.
No.
No, okay.
On my time, I lived in a small town. You know, I never lived in a capital. I lived in a small town, farmers mostly. Like the most money that was around there was farmers, and I never see with my eyes much violence, let's say that way, in Brazil. But when I moved to Rondônia, where my dad lived, I was again 18. Then I start to see that drugs, violence. I was robbed with a gun in my head. Like from nowhere, the guy just appeared and put a gun and took my watch and my jewelry that I had.
How old were you?
I am 45.
No, how old was this when you
I was 18.
You were 18.
Yeah, I was 18.
And so, growing up with this, I mean, like, also to people that don't know, you're Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. At what point did you start Jiu-Jitsu?
Was there as well.
Was after this?
Was in Rondônia, but I was already black belt in karate.
Okay.
I did train karate from when I was 9. My father, on one of his visits, I was very afraid of, confrontation with anybody, with anything. And, old-fashioned, you are too weak, I'm gonna put you to do this. And, or how am I gonna say, I went to be able to defend and to fight. But then after I learned that if I would use what I learned, would not be fair with other people. So I still never fought.
Yes.
But again, coming back into Jiu-Jitsu, when I moved to Rondônia, I met a few friends on the karate world. One of them was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. He was black belt in karate, but purple in Jiu-Jitsu, and he invited me to go for one class. I never forget, I went for that class. Was mostly army lads in there, big monsters, the ones beside, because Rondônia was what you call the division between countries.
The border?
The border. So Rondônia is a border state. So the guys were army monsters, big lads.
Killers.
Yeah. I would tap only when, like, they side control me, I would tap with the weight. But the funniest of all was a boy. He was 14 years old. I was already 18, a year in the army. And, strong. I used to do weights and stuff. That boy was 14 years old, like young, skinny. And I went to roll with that boy. And then my first day, he just played with me like I was a dummy. Like, I left the class like, what the hell is this?
You start reevaluating your whole life.
And I say, I spent years and years repeating, punching. And that boy just played with me like I was nothing. And then I went to the next day, and the next day I started to teach classes of karate for kids, and that place where I was training. And with that money, I pay my jiu-jitsu classes because I wasn't working. I worked for 3 months as accountant, and I didn't get paid. So I just quit everything I was doing, just teaching karate and training jiu-jitsu for the year I was there.
I think I always tell this to people that want to start jiu-jitsu is, you don't do it for fun. You don't do it as a hobby. You do it because you want to do it, or you don't do it at all. Like the first day, I remember for me as well. Like I came in here, it was 3 years ago, maybe when I first started, and it was the same thing. I went home and I said, "Shit, I need to learn this. This is amazing." But if you don't love it, you're not gonna do it because it's a painful sport and it's
frustrating,
demoralizing.
Yes. People with proud and
your ego.
Everything gonna stay on the mat. And if you're not able to swallow all this and keep going, you're gonna do 2-3 classes and you're gone.
How long did it take you to get your black belt? What was that journey like?
That was a long journey, because after 1 year there, again, we come back for that girl. She moved to Portugal. 2 months later, I decided to go back home. I said, I go back home. This is not working with my dad. It was arguments all the time. But then she started to call, oh, come. As I say, my family was farmers. I said, you know what? I'm gonna work for somebody else there. I have a chance to go for another country. I go. If you don't work.
So you went after this girl?
Yeah.
It's always the case.
I went. if it don't work, I listen. I know another country.
Yeah.
So I went. 15 days later, we broke up. We broke up after 15 days. I was still in her house, her mom's house.
In Lisbon, yes?
In Lisbon.
Yeah.
I stayed there for maybe another 2 weeks on her parents. And I found a job as a chef. And that people from that restaurant, they were like my second.
How did you go from being an accountant to a chef?
I didn't like it.
But what was that like? It's two completely different worlds. The skill is...
Yeah, I never cooked.
Okay.
I never cooked. I was raised, we were 2 boys, me and my cousin, and there was 5 women in the house. Well, my granddad as well, but he was the man of the house. He would go to the farm, come back down. Like, he was always in and out. But kids we were 5, and my aunties, granny, and sister, and cousins. So we never cooked. Boys never did anything, And as I say, after 3 months working as accountant, I quit. I said, I don't want this. I don't like sitting in the office and get stuck in there looking for numbers. I love maths. I still do. But I just felt it wasn't for me. I still using accountancy for my own purpose, for my family bills and a way to live. But again, I moved to Portugal. I saw an opportunity there to work as a chef. They say they could train for a month. If I like, I stay. If I didn't like, it was no problem. And I took it. I was not a regular chef, was a grill chef. Was a lady. She told me everything what I knew. The restaurant people there, the owners were very acceptable. At the time I moved, there was not many Brazilians in Portugal.
Was it a Brazilian restaurant?
No, a Portuguese restaurant. Portuguese restaurant.
Is it still open, do you know?
It's still open.
Have you been back?
Every year I go there.
You go back.
I sit there to eat with my family. The father, the man who owned, he used to own, he's not working anymore. He's still there, but not working. His son is taking care of the restaurant now. And the lady who was the chef, the kitchen chef, she is still cooking in there. That people was amazing for me. They put me on their house to live there. I lived with his brother for 6 months until I stand on my feet. Then I rent a small room. The lady who owns the restaurant, she took the mats from her son and gave it to me and put the covers, everything. When I moved in, that's all I had, my bag and that mattress that she gave it to me. And the journey started there. After a year, my sister moved over as well. She moved to Portugal. And we were there I worked for them for 7 years.
Wow, okay.
I worked for them for 7 years and I decided that it was time to move on.
And if I remember correctly, one day some gentleman came in, ate your food.
I left actually. I left after 7 years and I started to work on the airport.
All right, okay.
I went to work on the airport on a totally different work again. Just wrapping bags and doing insurance for those bags.
So did you again say, no, this is not for me?
No, I just because the restaurant life is stressful.
Yes, it is very.
And in Portugal, as a country that most of Europe visits, summertime is crazy. I end up fighting with my boss one day in the kitchen. I broke a knife to don't kill him. And in the end of that day, I just said, listen, I can't stay here anymore. I left with no jobs in my face. I
Just went.
yeah. I got that job in the airport and I started there. I was there for maybe a year and a half. And one day walking the street, he met me again, the same man. And he said, Junior, you don't want to come back? Since you left, we never had a grill chef like you, and blah, blah, blah. I pay you more if you want. Then I come back.
Okay.
I come back. After 6 months back, when this happened. Some Irish man went there to eat. And at the end of his food, he come and chat with me and ask, I have a restaurant, a Portuguese restaurant in Enniscorthy, in Ireland.
And you said, where is Ireland?
Yeah, and I say, where is Ireland? And then he say, it's beside England. I say, okay, it's the north of Ireland. And then he say, oh no, he showed me on the map, and I say, oh, okay. And is that one on top? And he say, no, the one on the bottom. I say, listen, I have holidays in August. I can go and try. And if I like, I come back. But I need to come back here and give to them a month for them to find somebody. So that's what happened. I come for a month. I loved it. Because Angelo, my son, my first kid, he was just born. He was 3. You know, in the capital is too rush to raise a kid. We used to wake up in the morning. His mother would be at 6, leaving the house, dropping him in another little town for someone to take care of him until I finish work and go pick him up.
I've spent quite a lot of time in Portugal, and I understand that people are not aware of this, but life in Portugal is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Most people work 2, even 3 jobs just to stay alive. I don't think people realize how bad the wages are. Yes, when you go on holidays, it seems amazing, but to live there is very difficult.
Yeah, very, very difficult. To find a job like I had that when I was for 7 years, and they used to pay me very good, and they always find a way to pay me a little bit more, like cleaning the restaurant after I finish work, because they would pay for somebody else to go there and sweep and mop. I would do that before I go home, and would add another 200 euros to my wages, things like this.
And so how old were you during this time? Early 20s?
More. I was 28.
28, okay.
28, 29, 20, I think, because when I moved here, I was 30.
Okay.
When I moved to Ireland, I was 30. Oh, but in Portugal was, I always say that I turned into a man in Portugal. I experiment everything in Portugal.
What do you think turns you from a boy into a man?
Was again, in Portugal, when I was in Brazil, I always knew my family was there. Anytime I would ask for help, but it wasn't help because I had things to sell and to make money. But when I moved to Portugal, I sold all that. I sold everything, and I moved to Portugal. So my ego would not let me go back. So you
burned your bridges. Yeah. There's no going back. Yeah. So it forces you to succeed. Yeah. There's no other option.
And I just took on and worked my way up. I fell down so many times. I had situations that I had nothing to eat. The money I would make was only to pay the rent, and that was it. And in Portugal, it's a monthly payment, meaning that I was maybe 4 weeks there with nothing until next month. And this will happen when I left the restaurant. I had no job. And in Portugal, if you don't have 1 month wages, you are
fucked.
Totally fucked. And but again, I always fought a lot. I never put my head down. I think that's no way to go deeper. Once you go down, the only way up is kicking your feet and jump back again.
Yeah, once you're at the lowest.
Yeah. There's no point as well to play a poor boy or he's passing for that. You don't, because life experience is on yours. People are gonna listen, they're gonna hear, they're gonna pretend they understand, but your experience are yours. Is the feeling there, what you feel when you pass at that time, is only you who gonna understand.
Only you understand.
Yeah, nobody else. Not even your wife, your kids. It will be only a story for them, nothing else.
And did you continue training jiu-jitsu while you were in Portugal?
When I moved to Portugal, there was a break there, because restaurant life is,
busy.
I think I stopped for maybe 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years. And then I met Leo, that is my coach until nowadays, in a church. I was teaching kids downstairs in the church between the sessions, karate, and the priest, he said, "Oh, you should meet that man." That was Leo. We met, and he invited me to go for his place to train. I start like a day a week, 2 days a week, whenever I had time to go, and it started to go more and more and more. And I never left. I stopped again when I moved to Ireland. I was only blue belt. I was 6 years as a blue belt. In between those breaks and train, not train, go and not go.
It wasn't a straightforward journey, it was a part of your life.
Yeah. But I was always there, behind, on the back of my head.
You missed it.
Yeah. Every time I stopped, my goal was always go back, nothing else. Sometimes people have goals of making more money or get rich or buy a car or something. My goal was always be able to train jiu-jitsu every day. Because it was something that would reset me. Every difficulty, every time when I walk into the mat,
you forget everything.
Yeah, and when I leave was like press the reset button and start again.
Let's try again.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu was my wife until now, she don't understand.
Most people don't, and only those who have that bug, who train all the time, I think most of us do it because of that psychological benefit, that when you're here you forget about everything. You forget about your problems, you forget about your bills, you forget about your job, you forget about life.
Yep.
Because the only thing that matters is here, is now. You're very present.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, I don't think I've ever found in my life that has that same effect.
No, it doesn't, because you see, when I got my black belt, that was, I think 6 years ago, I don't remember, 6, 7. I start to put jiu-jitsu everywhere. When I'm teaching, when I'm working.
The philosophy.
Yeah, the philosophy of jiu-jitsu. When I'm cooking, it's always a solution for this. It's never just the problem.
There's always a way.
Yeah, there's always a way out. There's always a way in, and there's no need to panic. More you panic,
the worse it
gets. And always, if there is hard in jiu-jitsu, someone is choking me and I am able to come out, I will be able to come out.
There's nothing worse than that.
I will come out with a solution for that. And my colleagues, they always say, "Jesus Christ, how you find so much motivation?" It's not motivation, it's a way of life, man.
Yes, because when you self-impose difficult things upon yourself, like when you voluntarily show up here and do something that's really difficult and uncomfortable, everyday life is easy. It's easy.
That's it. Yes, some days it's hard.
Of course. But it's easier.
Yeah, but it's easier than here.
Of course.
So it's just get on with it and keep going every day.
So you show up in an escortee.
Yeah.
You do it for 2 weeks?
No, I moved to escort. I did for a month. Worked for that guy for a month. He was Irish, but his wife was Portuguese.
Okay.
So we spoke Portuguese. Come back.
Does he still have this restaurant?
Yeah, but I think they only open part-time now.
Okay.
But he still have the restaurant. After a month I come back, and then I move in. After 3 months, my ex come with Angelo to live. I worked for them for a year and 8 months. Got an offer to work for Italians, Italian restaurant here in Gori. They were opening a new restaurant here, and they want a grill chef. I come to work for them. Worked for them for 6 months. He had a restaurant and a coffee shop on the side. Restaurant would open at night, coffee shop during the day. And he said, "Oh, Junior," the restaurant was in Gori, but I was still living in Scotty. And one of the journeys, he was giving me a lift from Gori from Scott to Gori. He said, "Oh, I'm thinking of selling the restaurant." And we got into a conversation, and I placed an offer, and I took the coffee shop. No, he was thinking to sell the coffee shop, not the restaurant. And I said, "I'll take the coffee shop." And he said, "Oh, are you sure? It's difficult work, and you don't speak English very well yet." Because again, I was working in a restaurant that only speak Portuguese. Yes. Everybody was Portuguese, so English was not necessary. When I started to work for the Italians, I learned Italian instead of English.
So can you speak Italian now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I speak Italian too. So I learned Italian before English. I said, but I just need to hire a waitress that speaks Italian with me. I speak, and she speaks English with the customers.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I took the restaurant. I was open for 2 years and something. In that time, I started to lose my shyness and try the English slowly. Start to go out and be able to talk with the customers, and Irish people is very perceptive.
Mm-hmm.
I found that amazing because English was not my language, but Portuguese was. But when I moved to Portugal, my accent of Brazilian is totally different.
It is, yes.
It's totally different.
It's two different Portuguese dialects, yeah.
And they would criticize my Portuguese, even that I was speaking Portuguese. And in here, they would never criticize my bad English. They would help.
Yes.
And I fell in love with Ireland. I still am. It's cold, raining, sad some days, but it's an amazing country. The people is amazing. I really like it.
What's the biggest thing you love about Ireland?
How am I going to explain? The way you are able to do things with the money, let's say, the lifestyle. Even when the weather is bad and hard, you just need to plan your holiday, go out, have a break, and come back and go again. In Portugal, you would work all the time, and God knows when you are able to take a holiday, and it would be inside,
You don't have the money to go anywhere.
Yeah. In-country holiday. Since I'm here, I visit maybe 10 countries, and it's not saying, oh, I can't, I go with my whole family, and 6 people we are.
4 kids, right?
Yeah, 4 kids, and wife. Sometimes I bring my cousin to help with the kids. So it's a country that gives opportunity, let's say that way. And it's easier when you have the money on your side.
Especially when you work hard.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of young people complaining that there's no money in Ireland, but they don't realize how much they spend. And if you actually put your head down and you work hard, especially for you coming from Brazil, and hard work is nothing to you.
No.
You've been doing it all your life.
And it's also priorities, I learned this. If you want to go on an expensive holiday, let's say 2 a year, and you think, oh, I go to the pub every weekend and I spend 50, 70, 100 quid. That's 400 quid a month. In a year,
5,000 euros, that's a lot of money.
5 grand is a big 5-star hotel holiday. So I don't go pub. I don't go to pubs. I don't say it's wrong. Priorities. People prefer that way. I prefer
This way.
this way.
What was owning your business like? What was those 2 years like? How did that change how you live your life personally as well?
When I had the business?
Yeah. Stressful, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was, but was an experience. You know, when I took the place, was on the first snow here. I think 2010. Very, very bad.
There was heavy snow. Yeah, we get snow every 10 years maybe.
It was 2010, and I was living in Scorti, and I said I have to open. Everything else was closed, but I was open for a month or two. Jesus Christ, I have to pay the rent. I have to pay, you know.
Yeah.
So I was driving from Scorti every day in the snow. The customers I had at that time, the customers I made when at that snow time, I had them until I decided to close. But answering to your question, it was very hard. Started 5:30, 6 in the morning, prepping for the breakfast, getting ready for the breakfast, and was on my own at first, you know, and one person to be waiting, working towards the breakfast, and then finish breakfast, again lunch, and get ready for the next day all the way, and then after go to shopping again for the next day, because it's a small business, you have to, you know, it's a day by day. I didn't have a cash flow big enough. I was trying.
Every day is the same.
Yeah.
Every day, all day.
Yeah, every day is, you know. But for me, was a learning. Again, Jiu-Jitsu is always a learning process. You never lose anything, because everything adds on to your life experience. And I come back again, it's the only thing you bring with you when you die. No money, no cars, no fancy gold or fancy teeth. Absolutely nothing. Go with you, only the things you lived.
Your experiences, your memories.
Yeah, that's all you have. Because all the rest is superficial. But yeah, after 3 years, got into a divorce, and was hard with my Angelo fighting, going to court, through access to have him. And my head went down, went through a depression, and I closed down. Closed the place down.
It was just too much. You said
I
this.
I couldn't manage it. I just could not even stay in there.
I think a lot of people don't realize, you go to a restaurant or you go to any business, and you especially if you meet the owner, you think, oh, he's running this business. But business is one thing, but life is another thing, and it's very difficult to balance both. And especially if there's difficult things in your life, like for example the divorce, it reflects on your business.
Yeah, it does, especially when it's a small business.
Yeah,
the business is you. You are there. It's your face. It's your happiness that bring people. It's your funny jokes that keep people there. You know, it's your personality that take those customers there every day. And suddenly, if your mind change, your heart change, they start to notice that too.
Yeah, there's a change in energy. They say, something's different.
And the energy is something that people notice straight away. Even they don't understand.
You feel it.
But they feel it. So I just decided that it was time to let go. And I close. I go for the social now, take a little break. I was not working for 8 months maybe. I rent a small room in Balicanu. Left the house, moved to Balicanu. And that's where I live. I met my partner now, that we are together. We are together for 12 years now. We used to live together in that room, paying 70 euro, taking 180 every week from the social. She was working part-time, she was young. And we just, again, as I say, work my way up again. Now day by day, start to work weekends for a friend in the restaurant. After 6 months, a lady opened a cheaper, a main street here. She asked if I want to manage the place, took the job, and was still working Saturdays and Sunday in the restaurant. I could rent a house, then we move in to our own house. The cheaper clothes. I started to work on Wells' house as a commis chef. Worked there for 2 years. The head chef left one day just like this, and I took the responsibility of the kitchen. I was there for 3 months, and then the owner, she come to me and say, "Oh, Junior, do you want to take the place, or I hire somebody else?" I say, "Hire somebody else."
Not this time.
I say, "I don't want it." And she say, "Why?" I say, "No, I'm happy here. You know, I don't want any.
Not this shit again.
I don't want any responsibility. I'm good." And she say, "Okay, I'm gonna hire someone." A month, 2 months, nobody in. I was there alone again. Me and another guy. It was not summer yet. And then summer started to come, start to get busy. And she said, "Junior, you are doing the work as a head chef. I am not gonna hire somebody else to put on top of you. Just take it." And then, okay, I say, "Okay, I take." And then she hired some other chef to help me. We went through I was there with them for 5 years.
So cooking has always been coming back to your life.
Yeah, no, I work as a chef for 22 years.
When's the last time you worked as a chef?
Before COVID.
Okay.
Before COVID, I decided that was no more.
Okay.
I was in Wales, and I say no. I walk into the house and I say to Greta, I say, "That's enough. I don't want to do this anymore." My middle boy was only a few months old. He was not a year, and then Leo as well. Come, 2 small kids in the house, and I never see my kids. I say, I can't. She one day she say, "I'm like a single mother. Every birthday I go, I'm alone. Every friend's party we go, I'm alone." And then I just took my foot and I say, "That's it. So I'm gonna take a break, you know, and after I see what I'm gonna do." But the break didn't happen. After a month, a friend of her, he called her and asked, "Oh, Junior know a lot of people in town. Does he know anyone who would like to take a job on a construction site?" As I say, I'm very spontaneous.
Yeah. You said, "I know a guy."
And I said, I take a chance, I'm gonna try. And then he was reluctant. He said, "Oh, Junior, but
You're a chef.
you're a head chef, you know, you take care of a restaurant, your wages is good, but I'm nothing at the moment." I say, "I'm nothing." I say, "I just want to change, and I take anything. It's okay. I take a chance. I let me try."
You're not afraid of change.
I say, "Let me try." Oh man, first day I walked into a site, I was shocked. How little I knew of construction talking, you know. So I walked into a site, was a big hole and muck and nothing else. Just diggers and
The real work.
yeah. And I say, "My goodness, what are we gonna do here? It's only water." I work in a waterproof business, and they say we have to do the membrane down here so they can put the concrete on top of it. Yeah, that's it.
And you still do this today, yes?
Yeah, I'm there with them for 5 years now.
Yeah. And so what do you do now? Do you still do the work, or do you manage a team?
No, after I think a year and a half, they offered me to be a supervisor. I again say no. I was happy just doing the work. After 2 months, they asked again. But I was already supervisor. I had already 3 person working with me. And most of the times that I am I get what you call promoted, I don't want it.
It's always happening wherever you go, and no matter what you do, you're always going higher and higher and higher.
And I say again, I'm doing already a job. Let me get paid at least for that. So I took the supervisor job. I was supervisor for maybe a year and a half. They called me again and said, Junior, is project manager role open? I would like you to take it. And I said, but I am not good for that. I'm happy here. I just have 2-3 sites, 3 people with me, and I'm good.
It's enough.
Yeah. And then they say, oh, but we would like to give you more. You are able to take more people and another vans and, you know, a bigger team. I know you can do it. I say, but I don't want to do it. I know I can, but I don't want. Reluctant again for maybe a month, 2 months. They called me again. Then I took the job. And I am doing that for the past year and a half.
And do you think it's going to happen again?
I hope no.
Why do you always agree then? Because you know you're very ambitious.
I'm actually not ambitious. It's just because when I don't agree, it's because I don't want, but I feel that they're still pushing. Push. Well, even when I say no,
you try hard anyway.
They're still pushing for me to take it. And that's why after 2 months, I always wait for 2 months to see if it's okay the way I'm doing. But I see, oh, can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? And I'm able to do it. And I say, oh, I'm already doing. You know, they are taking advantage of what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. So then that's why I always take it. Because they already taking advantage of my work, so let's at least take the advantage of the money too. You know?
What would you like to do? What is something that, if money was not an issue and you could just say fuck it tomorrow, what would you do?
Just do jiu-jitsu morning, afternoon, and night. Teach classes, have people here, wake up in the morning, have my breakfast healthy, be able to come, teach one class, go back home, have a dinner, lunch with my wife, come back for a class in the afternoon, and night, go back again. Like, this was always my dream, but it's very hard with a big family.
It is, but I think, I suppose, how have you seen Jiu-Jitsu grow in the last 20 years?
Oh my goodness, especially here in Ireland.
Yes.
My first competition in Ireland here was the Nationals, 100 people. On the last competition I done it, that was probably 3 years ago, was small, was not the National, was already 300 people. Small, very small competition. Nicholas, that is one of the guys that competes the most here on the gym. When he goes, it's 1,000 people competing in Ireland. Especially
now with the Craig Jones Invitational, I think Jiu-Jitsu is blowing up. It's like, you know, before you would compete and if you were lucky, you got paid enough money to cover your flights and your hotel maybe. Now you win $1 million.
Yeah.
It's life-changing money.
And it's a change for Jiu-Jitsu, for the Jiu-Jitsu world. Before, the organizers would make it, and the players would want to compete because it's something that you train for. Some people like the competition for the ego as well, and to be able to know what they learn if it's working.
To test
themselves. Some people come to the gym just to take the head out of the world. Some people come for fitness, some come for just chat.
Social aspect, yeah.
Some come to compete, to get better and to work hard and to, you know. But those people who compete, they would just pay to get a small medal at the end of the game, and
it's expensive to compete.
Everything is expensive.
Not only the training, the nutrition, the physio, but just to sign up to a competition. How much is it these days? 100, 150 euro?
Around that. Even the small competitions here is 70 euro.
Yeah, and that's not including travel.
Nothing else. If you go for a competition Today, you're gonna put petrol, you're gonna eat, you're gonna pay for the competition, and then you're gonna eat again before you come back home. You know, it's if you pay, let's say, 70 for the comp, you're gonna spend another 50. So it's 120 euro there, boom.
And especially like going back to Nicholas as well, like he doesn't have a job as such, like jiu-jitsu is his job in a way, and so he doesn't have that extra income, because if you want to be the best in the world, you don't have time for a full-time job. Jiu-jitsu needs to be your job.
And it's good when you have a support, you know. Like, he actually helped us to build this, you know. And when he said he wanted to do this, we just supported him. Go for it. You don't need anything else, no, just work here.
And the academy itself is growing. I mean, we're sitting right now in a brand new space. You guys installed these mats a month ago, maybe 2 months ago?
A month ago.
And your members are growing as well. So I think that your dream to do this full time and to coach is possible.
Yeah, it's almost there. I
Yeah.
can feel it.
Well, that's where it starts. You need to feel it and you need to believe it.
Yeah.
If you believe something, no matter what your goal is, eventually it will happen.
Yeah.
No matter how crazy it sounds.
No, I can feel that is happening, you know. When you pay rent, you need that money to come every month to pay the rent. And when something happens and you buy your own property, you are not afraid anymore, because it's yours now. You know, you need to do only a little bit to
stay alive, yeah.
To be there. And COVID actually was something that taught me a lot. For some people it was very bad, destroy a lot of business.
Yeah, it destroyed a lot of lives. It destroyed people, especially soft people.
Yeah. And build up, changed a lot of people. I changed. I was a chef and ended up in construction. I just realized that I did not need to chase too much, because we lived with the 350 quid that the government was giving. You know, we didn't have, you don't spend. More you have,
The more you spend.
more you spend, more you want. You want things that you don't need, and you keep wanting things that you don't need. You keep building ladders that you want to go higher for no freaking reason. But maybe coming with the age as well, you know, the age is also make me think that we are here for what? Just to live. You need to be able to enjoy your life, because you're gonna die. No matter what you do, no matter what you chase, you're gonna end up in a hole. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what to do. Just live as much as you can, and know as many people as you can. Enjoy life as much as you can on any way you are able to do it. If you have a courage to jump in a bungee jump for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. You know, if you are able to work a month to pay for an airplane and jump on parachutes, do it. You don't need that money for anything. You just do what you want to do. You know, money come and go.
Money's energy. Money needs to flow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I always say that I lived my life. That song for Black Eyed Peas. I lived a life. I lived my life as much as I could. When on the start of our conversation, I say that Portugal was a school. I did everything what I wanted there.
Have you been able to take a second and look back at your life and thank yourself and be proud of what you've done?
I am. Some people just see the bad things happen, but I think everything that happened in my life brought me,
of course,
here.
It's all a part of your journey.
Yeah. And again, it's jiu-jitsu. When I'm teaching here, sometimes I show a technique and they want to do a fancier one. Before I would get angry and, you know, why you doing it, if it's easy to get that way. But then I learned that it's a journey. You need to be able to do this. And then when you get into the end, that is not the end, it's the beginning. When you get to your black belt, you're gonna realize on your own that is It's a circle of life, and it's a circle of learning. That
It
is
never
always always straight.
It never stops.
Yeah, like you learn everything around, but on the middle is always a shorter road. You didn't need to do all that to get here, but you need to do all that to be able to realize,
To see it from that perspective. And life is very much the same.
Yeah, exactly.
We complicate life for no reason.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You know, you need to be able to leave everything, pass for everything, and there's no point for your dad or mom tell you don't do that because it's going to be hard for you. It's only a short in your experience, your life experience, and we are humans. Humans only grow with struggling.
I use the analogy of a river, that life is very much like it starts and it ends in the same place. A river starts on top of a mountain and it ends in the sea, but how you get there, there's a million possibilities, and your experience may be different, but you will always end up in the same place. What is one thing that, if you could go back 20 years in time and you could meet Junior when he was 25, what would you tell him?
Don't spend that much, motherfucker. Don't be a fucking dickhead. I used to make the same money I make now in Portugal.
Wow.
Yeah. In a period when I left the restaurant, I had 3 jobs.
That's, yeah. To make the same money, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. I was post office driver. I work on the airport, and I was working as a bartender at night.
How many hours were you sleeping?
Maybe 5. But I still sleep 5 even now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on Wednesday, that's what I sleep. I come home around 10, 11, have a shower, eat. I wake at 5 to go to work. So, but at that time, the pub wasn't a job, was the fun time, you know. I was bartender, but scares was everything in there. I never counted. But, man, I would spend the whole thing from all the 3 jobs. And in the end of the month, I would have nothing again.
But did you enjoy it?
I did.
Well then,
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
But that's what I mean. I would go back and tell, don't spend that much. There's no need. And then Junior would turn to me and say, fuck off. Go back there, old man.
I think it's wise to have a little bit saved up, you know, in case anything happens in life. But especially, like, we don't live in a time now where 50 years ago, if you saved most of your money and you had a good job, especially if you lived in Ireland, you were able to buy a house, you were able to go on holidays, you were able to have a car, maybe even 2 cars, and you were able to support your family. Nowadays, that's not the case. Nowadays, you have a normal job, a decent wage, and it's not enough.
Yeah, it's very difficult. But again, being an accountant, I'm able to direct that money on the right time, to the right place, with the experience of being an expensive man in the past and spending all my money before the month finished. It gave me the knowledge of knowing that everything has an end and there's no need. Passing that difficulty of not having any food when I didn't have any. Make me remember that, and knowing that I don't need to spend so much in things that is no necessary, because I'm gonna need at some point in life. So it's like Jiu-Jitsu.
Comes back again.
So everything is a learning process. You never lose. Everything, every difficulty that you pass in your life will make the person that you are in the future, or today, or tomorrow. Like, is a learning process.
Everything's a lesson.
If you want to take it, because some people are fucking retarded, they keep doing over and over the same mistakes and mistakes and mistakes.
Well, life will keep giving you the same lesson until you learn.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then exactly, life is like a game, and there's levels to it. And in order to pass to the next level and be given the next difficulty, the next challenges, you need to pass the ones you have right now. And whether that's a bad relationship, a job you hate, a bad habit, you know, you need to learn from it and you need to move past it. A lot of people stay stuck in the same place and they keep saying, oh, the same things keep happening to me in my life all the time. I just can't catch a break. Yeah, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. You can't go for a math test and fail and expect to pass to the next class.
Without studying.
You need to study. You need to be able to understand what you are losing, why you would make mistakes, what's the mistakes that you done to pass, and then be able to go for the next class. You can't. It's like you say, it's a game.
What's one thing you would want for your children?
To live, with the same way I lived, but not try to not make the same mistakes I did. 2 mistakes. Yeah, mistakes is a learning process. But if I can avoid that, I will help them not make too many. To make your life easy when you're old. Now I'm 45 and I'm still fighting, And I don't want them to get on 45 with a back pain, knee pain, and still have to work hard as I am.
Right. But do you think having a hard life, especially growing up, is important?
Easy life make weak people.
Weak people make strong times, or
Yeah.
difficult times, sorry. And difficult times create hard people.
So
I fucked that up.
but it is. Easy life makes very tough time for an adult person. And I see this now so much. I see people, you see so much depression and anxiety everywhere. Let's not go too deep in there, because the life nowadays is very hard everywhere, in every country.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned when I traveled across the world. I thought that, well, I don't know what I thought. I didn't have many expectations going into my journey, but one thing I learned is that no matter where you live, no matter what you do for a living, no matter where you're from, we're all living through the same story in its own version, and we all have the same problems, and we all want the same things in life.
Yeah.
Collectively, we just want a good life.
And easier. Easier. You always want to work hard to have an easy life. Work hard to have an easier life in the future, And that's what most people chase.
The future.
Yeah, the future.
But they forget about
The now. Now, tomorrow maybe is good enough. Tomorrow is good enough. A year, 5 years, Jesus Christ. You don't even know if
a lot can happen.
Yeah, you don't even know if you wake tomorrow.
No,
you have
you
to be
don't.
happy for tomorrow. And my colleagues there, they say, Junior, you should not be doing this. I say, why? Because you help so much. Me, when I give you a call and I'm feeling bad, and then you come with your knowledges, I don't know where you take them from. And you should be doing that for living, helping people. I say, but I do that.
You do it every day.
I do it. I'm doing it for you. But
And you do it from your heart.
yeah, if I sit and start to do it for money, it's not the same,
Right.
because it's a job. For the moment that is a job, the pleasure is not the same.
And that happens very often. When I have a huge passion for fitness for the last decade or more, and when I studied sports science, and when I finished, I became a personal trainer and strength coach, and it took away the love and the passion that I had for it when I started doing it every day as a job.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing it myself. So after a few years I said, no, let me keep this as a passion, as a hobby, as something that is me time, and let's find a different way to make money.
That's it.
So where do you see yourself 6 months, we can say?
Oh God, that's a very difficult question. We go against everything what I just say.
You don't know?
I don't know, and I don't think very much. I don't think very much about 6 months. Maybe a holiday in Brazil.
Okay. Do you go back often?
No, every 2 years. It's very expensive for me to go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Family is big. Tickets are crazy expensive.
Everybody wants something when you go over.
And there is always 2 holidays, because I go into holiday for myself, see my closest family, but my wife don't have family, so she wants a holiday in there. You know? I go home, she wants holidays.
Okay.
So it's 2 holidays.
Yeah.
If I would go alone, I would not spend that much, but when I have to go with the family.
That's such is life.
Yeah.
If you turned your phone off for 1 week and disappeared, who would come looking for you?
I don't know. I really don't know. Because you don't know people. You live with them. Maybe my kids, you know, maybe the person that I live with. But that's only maybe.
Your wife, I hope.
Yeah, that maybe that.
Or maybe she'd be happy.
But that's what I mean. Maybe it's just a maybe. You know, you don't know people. Because like the people that I live with, I express what I feel. Example, when I say when I die, I don't want to be buried. I want to be born. Because I don't want any workship for anybody to go there and put flowers and pay for that place that is there. I don't want people having a work because there's a body in there.
Once you're gone, you're gone.
I'm gone. And if I decided to leave for a week, it's because I need it. And I say they would not think I just died.
Do you have someone in your life right now that if you call them at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, they say, hey, I need you here, they show up no matter what?
No, because I am a foreigner. I'm a fucking foreigner. I don't have much people when you're a foreigner. Like, I do my sister, she lives here, but as a person who always think about other people, before I call, I would think that she also have 2 kids, she working the next day. And that thought would avoid me to call. I have that's one of my, let's say, bad habit, is I don't ask for help.
Sometimes it's important.
Yeah, because I always think on the others. If I ask for help, I'm gonna make his life hard or her life hard. They already have their own problems, and those things.
I feel like I could call you. I could call you and I could say, hey, Junior, I need you here in 1 hour. Bring a shovel.
Yep.
And you would come.
No
questions.
No questions.
You can ask questions after.
Funny is that I was speaking with a cousin in Brazil. He went back after Portugal and he's there. He has his own life. He called me this week and say, I was just thinking here. I was at 5 o'clock in the morning in Lisbon. I had no money. I spent everything on the alcohol. And I call you, June, I have no money to go home. Come pick me up. And he was there for half an hour. And he say, I am here for so long, I cannot call anybody like this. I don't have anybody to call like that. And he say, I'm just calling to say that you are someone that anytime you need, I'm here. And,
you are, for sure.
And
I learned this about you from Jiu-Jitsu as well, and like when you fight with somebody, it creates an instant bond, because especially a white belt versus a black belt, I mean, you could kill me very easily if you wanted to, especially if you're choking someone out. I'm trusting you with my life that when I tap, you will let go. But the reality is, you could not let go. So I'm giving you my life. And if you do that, you create an ultimate trust, and that creates like a brotherhood, a sisterhood, When I traveled, when I trained in different academies with so many different people, I can confidently say that if I show up there tomorrow or next week, it's like you never left, because you're brothers and sisters forever. And it creates this community all around the world, And
that's the thing about Jiu-Jitsu. When you love, And this always, wherever you go, the people there have the same experience that you do. The struggles that you've done in the mats. They all start from nothing, learn a little bit, thought they knew everything, and then they realized they were just about the edge. Then they start to understand that they knew a little bit, but it could be better. When they get to brown, they start to understand what they can use.
What works.
What they can use there and then at the right time. And then when you get to black, you start everything again, because then it's people under you that you know they're struggling because you already passed through that.
You only learned the alphabet.
Yeah.
Now you need to learn how to speak.
Yeah. And it is a journey that never stops. That's why people fall in love or hate.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you see yourself rolling when you're 65?
Oh, I am. I will be rolling. I'm 65. Try to catch up, Tess.
Do you want your kids to do jiu-jitsu?
They are here.
Yeah.
Even when they don't want to, I still bring them to sit there on the mat and watch. My wife tried to put them in so many sports, and I let them go anyway. But they always quit or don't like it. But here, even if they like or don't like, I still bring them anyway. Because it's a community. We had a barbecue at the company last week, and then one of my colleagues went to pick them up in the house after school and brought them. Was around 50 people in there, and they just walk in, talk with everybody, played with everyone. They didn't know from nowhere, but I was there. And the same was in the gym.
They're not afraid.
Yeah, they have people every day. They talk, they play, they fight with them, and they are confident in themselves.
At a very young age.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu give that for them. Most kids are not able to talk with other people, to have a conversation.
I wasn't able to have a conversation until about 2 years ago,
My 5 years old, he just walk in and say, how are you? What are you doing? He will start the conversation with you.
Yeah.
But it is that community here, is that family of growing up in the Jiu-Jitsu.
It's very important.
That give that to them. Maybe they're never gonna do Jiu-Jitsu, or never be good at Jiu-Jitsu, but the whole thing, the whole composition of Jiu-Jitsu, the knowledge, the atmosphere, the family sense of it, they will grow with it.
I mean, I would confidently say it saved my life, just because there was a point where I just gave up on humanity. I said, we're finished, and when I started training here and I built a relationship with so many different people, I said, okay, we'll be okay. There's still hope. There's still hope. There's still hope. Listen, Junior, thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and I hope we can sit down in the future and see where life takes you.
Yeah, let's see where life takes me.
Let's enjoy the ride.
Yeah, let's just sit on the roller coaster and let go.
Let's go, buddy. Thank you, Junior.
No problem, then. Thank you, buddy. Good luck on your journey, too. Tess, you have another one now? You have another one? The kids are gone?